my man. Welcome back. We got our fourth episode of SAGED Wrestling. We got a real special guest today, man. One that I've followed for a long time since he hit the circuit, and want to welcome Jax Forrest, brother. Thank you for being on the show, and glad to have you, brother. How's things going?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem, buddy. No problem. What we'll do, I wanted to touch base. I know, we had talked a little bit through online and everything, but just kind of, I know your dad played a big part in it, but just kind of let everybody else know kind of how you got your foot in the door with wrestling and what led you to being, pretty much one of the number one pound for pound guys in the country.
Yeah. So I started wrestling when I was young, like 5, 6, somewhere in there. And my dad wrestled in high school and college, and so he always wanted one of his sons to wrestle, and I was his oldest son, so I was the one that was gonna start it off for him, see if I liked it. And I mean, when I started, I loved it, and I just liked wrestling all the time. And it's just like he just helped me a lot getting into it, and then just being able to just be good with it and allow me to kind of figure it out on my own.
Was it something that came natural to you, or did you have to, because I've watched some kids jump right in, and then 6 years old, they're placing at the state tournament and it just comes natural. Or did you have to kind of take your lumps to get to, obviously you had to probably take a couple to get to where you are now, but was it something that came pretty natural to you?
I mean, I was always like one of the better ones in North Carolina, like as soon as I started. But as soon as like I went to the like VAC duels or Wildwood when I was younger, like I would get beat up pretty bad. I'd walk out of there most likely with the losing record, and but just over time, like I started to figure it out more.
You could definitely tell it clicked for you, big guy, because like something definitely registered to where you're definitely getting. So then the move to Bishop McCourt happens. What grade was you in when that happened?
I went in, so I was in 8th grade, North Carolina. Then we moved up there and I got held back. So I was in 8th again.
Awesome. So you did two. So this was actually you did 2 years at Bishop. Well, you did in 8th grade at Bishop McCourt, and then you just finished your freshman year at Bishop. So you've done two at Bishop.
Yeah, this was my second year at McCourt.
You roll around with Bo a lot?
Yeah, we wrestle every day, pretty much.
Yeah. You got a heck of a room up there, buddy. I mean that's you guys are gonna have a lot of D1 wrestlers coming out of there.
Yeah, I think so. I think there'll be a lot. Majority of us, I think, will, as long as we want to.
Absolutely. And that's and I guess is that the recruiting process. How does it work? Is it sophomore year? You can't talk to nobody till what, 10th grade, or is it 11th grade? How does that actually work?
I think after you are done with your sophomore year, June 15th, going into your junior year, you can get contacted.
Do you realize your phone? You better buy like 4 phones, bud.
Yeah.
Like everybody's calling. I'm gonna call just for the simple fact that like I'm gonna want you to be like, bro, you should probably come to my favorite school. So that way I can come watch you every week.
I think a couple college coaches yesterday thought I was like going into my junior year. So my I didn't get any, but my dad got a couple of calls from different college coaches.
I did too. I honestly, like, not that I got calls, but I also thought you were heading into like just the way that you like I would, buddy. You even the way you speak, man. You speak like it's like an old soul, man, and I can appreciate it. Like I sit here and think, so what? You're 16?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, I would never think that I was sitting here talking to a 16-year-old, and so I mean, kudos to your parents. They seem to have done a damn good job raising you, buddy.
Yeah, they're great. They do a lot for me and all my siblings. I mean, moving up to McCourt, like that's moving like 7, 8 hours. Like that's no joke.
They want what's best for you.
Yes. Yeah.
And it is, to be honest with you. And this is just I have a feeling one day we're going to see them on ESPN, and Like how they always go to the parents whenever yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're that type of kid, that type of character, that type of uh love for it that
Mhm.
mom and dad's gonna get their time to really be able to, because the way that I view it is it seems like parents, if they ain't willing to put the time in for you to move
Yeah.
to Bishop McCord or for you to get the best partners, like that's what separates the greats from the goods.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's definitely a multiple person job to be at the level that I'm at and to keep getting better and better.
Yeah, and that's what's even scarier to be. I mean, it's not scary, it's exciting, but like the fact that you are 16 and the fact is you still
Mhm.
have 3 years of high school
Yeah,
is
kinda.
it's got. What weight are you looking at coming into your sophomore year? You looking at a certain, like, where you want to be at?
I mean, most likely between 26 and 32. It just kind of depends. Like right now, like I hate losing weight. So losing weight for me is just I try not to do it. Like I'll have to do it maybe a tournament, which it's still not much cutting. Like I walk around at probably 130, 130, 131,
Oh,
129 in
really?
between that area. Yeah. So it's like I'm not I kind of come off as deceiving because I have long arms and I'm taller, but like I'm probably I should be a 20 pounder just based on like if you put me how much weight I cut compared to like most kids in high school, like I probably would be a 20, but I just never liked it, obviously. But and I just feel
Yeah,
more comfortable wrestling without losing weight.
yeah, 100%. And even 32, I think 32 would be good for. Heck, man, by the time you get into high school, you're gonna end up being or college, you're gonna end up being a 65 pounder. You keep
Yeah.
growing the way you are.
Yeah, that's what my parents, they always thought I'd be between like 49, 57, 65, or somewhere in
Yeah,
between there. It's based on how tall I get. Because my dad's 6 foot, so he's taller.
if you get up to that, and yeah, I could
Yeah.
see that. And man, I'll tell you what though, that length is gonna come into yeah, it's gonna come into play phenomenally. You're gonna, I mean,
Mhm.
you already have this scrambling ability that you
Yeah.
never. I I mean, I guess just you're so far ahead of any other ninth grader that I've ever watched, and I guess I'm just curious on like what makes, and I guess everybody's just built different, but man, it just seems like something really clicked for you at a young age, and it's just,
Yeah.
and I'm talking from your top game to your bottom to the neutral position to everything, and it's like how are you good at everything? Like it's been fun to watch, and I can't wait to continue to watch for the next 3 years of high school and 4 or 5 years of college, and hopefully get some gold
Senior level.
medals around your neck. Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
I
Because I'll
think,
tell you what, I watched, what was it, the U20s, right? That you just
yeah,
wrestled at?
and
Bro,
Spire.
you should be unbelievably proud of how you did, bro. And I know nobody likes taking an L, but whenever you're wrestling Spratley,
Hmm.
and it was a 12-7 fine, I feel like was the finish in the semifinals. But at the end of the day, it was like you were right there with him. Like in that 12, like let's be real, we went for something big to try to
Yeah.
get the points there at the end. You know what I mean? Because I think everybody was really wanting, and that's not against Spratley. I don't want to take nothing from him at all, but like everybody was ready to watch that Forrest Louis. You know,
Yeah. It would have been nice.
it would have been. That's what's crazy about that three. Like any of you three could have went and represented like Team USA for the
And
U20s,
then
and
same with Jory Volk, who I
yeah,
beat
and
in the
beat
semis.
9-8. Yeah, you got him 9-8 in the semis, and I was blown. And he's a monster. It's what grade's he in? You know?
Going into his sophomore year of college, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, listen, I mean, that's just. I mean, listen to the guys that you're running with. I mean, these are. I mean, and I know that Spratley he's going to be what? He goes to Oklahoma State. Volk,
Yeah.
where's Volk? Is Volk another Oklahoma boy?
He's Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fact that you're a freshman in high school, I mean, I can't say it enough. Like I watched this show. It's actually a YouTube channel called Destroying. He does like one-on-ones with football and stuff like
Oh yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and they every time that there's a freshman, Coach O's always like he's a freshman, and like that's you, like you know what I mean. Like I got to come up with something for when I come across dogs like you that are freshmen, bro, because you're out here taking out really good wrestlers from even when you jump down into the consies and you come across, was it Brendan McCronin
I
from
wrestled
Ohio
him.
State?
He was the second round, so that was still in the championship round.
And I remember watching that, and I had honestly mixed emotions. Obviously, being an Ohio guy, and I was just like, see how this goes. Love watching Jax go after it, and then I was just like, oh, what happened? Like, like
Yeah, that match was
th-
pretty crazy.
yeah, yeah. And McCronin, he's no joke. Like these
Yeah.
kids that we're listing off, brother. You're beating some of the best in the country, and
Mm.
at a very young age, and the fact that there's still growth to go. Now, last season it says you went 30-1. It was your record as a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't find who that one fall was to, and I'm sorry not to bring up the one you have 30 great matches, 31, and but I just who was able
That
to
was
crack the code,
it was Luke Little. We went one and well, I wrestled him at Journeyman, beat him at Journeyman, then he beat me, and then I beat him.
and then you beat him at Ironman.
No, he beat me at Ironman. I beat him at Powerade.
He won the see, and I was even at Ironman. For some reason, I thought you got him at Ironman.
No, I beat him at Powerade, which is like a month
Yeah.
later.
So he got you there. So that's the loss that they're counting. See, I thought I didn't know that's the loss that they were counting. Okay, fair enough. And that was an awesome match. All of them
Yeah.
you guys put together. And he just finished his junior year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our matches.
Go, what's that? Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I was gonna say so me and him we wrestled in the finals at Ironman and Powerade, and they put our match like the final match for both of those tournaments.
And it should be because I mean, and I do remember them doing it because I mean, and you're talking Iron Man, like which is that's crazy, but right now you guys are high school wrestling, like you guys are the faces of high school wrestling, and even taking third at Super 32s in the 8th grade is impressive. You didn't get to wrestle there this past year as a freshman?
Oh, I did. I got third again. I was in like the quarters. I was up 13-1, 13-2, and I didn't get cradled and pinned.
Didn't know that. See, because I was looking, I was like, man, he had to go there. Because I mean, it's Super 32s. I think now out of all of these, have you been to Fargo yet?
I went to Fargo 2021, so like 2 years ago.
So out of Fargo, Ironman, Powerade, Super 32, I usually ask all these guys this, like, which one do you think means the most? Is the hardest? Is the toughest? Is that tournament in high school?
Yeah. That's a tough question. I think probably Super 32 would probably be number one, just because like you get so many kids there, and it kind of just it seems like it's like the preseason tournament, but then like regular season, definitely I would say Ironman. You just get the most firepower there. And then
Iron Man. I love the setup because what I like about it as a fan going there and as a podcaster and wanting to get your news and stuff is like but we're right there with you guys. Like, hey man, if I get up to use to get a bite of food or use the restroom, like I mean, you're rocking. When you're walking by, you, Luke, you're right. I mean, you're standing there with the fans, so I think it gives even us a different point of view of like, man, because you guys honestly like are like. I mean, we always see you on TV. We always see you on Flow. We always see you winning these big tournaments, and to be sitting there that side like it's no different to some of, and I'm not especially kids, but even a 35-year-old man like myself, like man, if I'm standing here with Jax Forrest, it's like, dude, like I literally would nudge my uncle who's in his 50s, and wow, that's Jax Forrest. Like it's you guys have made such a name, and like we have such a love for the sport that that's why I love Iron Man so much, is because it really gets us a chance to see you guys and be right there with you guys on the mat watching it, and it's an awesome experience. I've never been down to Fargo, but I've heard really good things too down there.
Fargo's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Now,
I like man though.
do you prefer? Are you Is there do you prefer folk style over freestyle, or is it kind of like, hey, whatever we got to do, let's just go get it? Or
Yeah, pretty much. It just I don't know. Like it kind of depends on how I'm doing and like because freestyle, like I can go out there score a lot of points, but then I can give up points a lot easier in freestyle than folk
absolutely,
style. So
yes,
it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day.
yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense for sure. But I know that just with everything out of your goal for your sophomore year, what is Jack's Forrest goal coming into his sophomore year outside? I mean, obviously winning a state title, but is there anything?
I think my biggest goals for my sophomore year, obviously, I want to win Super 32, Ironman, do the best I can, and then I want to continue to go to the college opens, try and wrestle the best college guys that I can. So not totally sure yet which college opens. It kind of just depends on like which ones I guess are gonna work out the best.
Yeah, because I seen. I mean, because you did what you won the Edinburgh. I
Yeah.
didn't. Did you win the Clarion?
No, I think I took third there. Yeah.
Third at Clarion, and then what? There was three, I believe, that you
Yeah.
hit, and
Another one was Bearcat up in Binghamton.
and was that also another second or third place? Because the only reason is I see at the college opens, I got you at a 13-2 record.
That's right. I got so there. It's like I lost first round to Sheldon Seymour from Lehigh, and then I came back, and the best you could do is fifth. So that's what I came back and took.
Awesome.
And in my blood round match, I actually beat a kid named Brett Unger from Cornell, who
Yeah,
he was in the blood round this year at NCAA's.
I think he was a Notre Dame Green Pond kid too,
Yeah,
if I'm correct.
yeah, he was there.
And that's a heck of a. And you did come across them, huh?
Yeah, I was losing going in that third period. I was down 9-3, and then I ended up winning 11-9.
Man, that's I mean, just these names are unbelievable. Like we said, I mean, for especially this past U.S. Open, like like just the names that you had to go through from high school, like the baddest high school kids to some. I mean, you're talking starting lineup guys that
Yeah.
125 for some of these colleges, and you're not just beating them, you're teching them. You're putting on a quite the show, big guy. But then, how did your U17s when you go over there for U17s? So, tell me, tell us a little bit about how that went and with the silver medal over there, and how was the trip and what was it like being over?
It was
Just
it was good. I liked it. I mean, the plane ride out there was super long, but I was out there. I was with our flight. I went out with Joe Seeley. He was
yeah,
another North Carolina kid that we've traveled a lot together, going to tournaments with each other. But then while I was out there, like it was different. Like it was really hot out there actually. So it was first day we get out there, like something was wrong with our hotel, so we couldn't get in, and we didn't have like any food or drinks. So that first day was rough. But then the actual wrestling, like the foreign guys, they had a weird feel. Like they all felt like they knew what they were doing, obviously, and they were really good. But it was just part of it. It just like things I was able to score easily, but then other positions I was like, there's like no way I got to score from it.
and you think it just stems from us having a folk style and then just
Yeah.
strictly freestyle? That's all they'd have. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I figured
But
it played, but to come away with silver, I mean, at U17s, and you were what 15 at the time?
yeah,
maybe even
Yeah.
15 years old and going to U17 Worlds and coming away with a silver. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
everything you do, you excel at tremendously. Uh,
Hmm.
and it's something to be very proud of, man. It is.
Thank you.
Uh, 2026 can't come soon enough, at least for us fans, man. Like
Yeah.
not that we don't love watching you at Iron Man and Super 32s and all these big, Powerades and Fargos, but wherever you do decide to go, man, I bet it's gonna be fun to watch you strap up and
Yeah. I'm
heck,
excited for
honestly.
it.
Oh, I could only imagine. I mean, nobody wants. I'm sure even your parents and anybody like I got a little guy too, but you never want your kids to grow up too quick. But uh, outside
Mhm.
looking in, man, it's like, man, I'm ready to see him in some scarlet and gray. But if either way, I really think that you had the potential to join an elite list. Like I've been around this sport long enough that I know, like whenever you see somebody such as yourself, like you don't see what you're doing very often, buddy. You really don't. And I, you're only going to get better from here. So to join that list of the John Smiths, the Logan Stevers, the Kyle Dakes, the Yannis, like
Mhm.
I feel like, and that's a huge thing. Don't get me wrong. Like that's incredible, and that's even people would probably even watch this and be like, "Well, he's nuts to even say that." But I can promise you this: I've never said it to anybody else, and I've spoke to
Mhm.
several really good high school wrestlers. Um, but I think you're possibly you and Bo. I think honestly
Mhm.
are the two best kids that I've seen. And he just finished his freshman season too, correct?
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy. Like I think we were number one or one, no, number one, number two, pound for pound
Hmm.
for our class. And we wrestle
Yep,
with each other like every day.
that's
So it's
crazy.
kind of just like we hope to just keep jumping levels and just getting better with each other.
Absolutely. And I think you guys are well on your way. You really are.
Hmm.
He now and his dad's the coach. Like you like
Yeah.
I mean, how is Mr. Bassett as a coach? I mean, Coach
He,
Bassett, you enjoy it wrestling with him, wrestling for him?
yeah. He's a great coach. Like he knows what he's doing. He's really good in the strength and quickness aspect of it. Like that's like he's top notch at it. Like he knows what he's doing. He knows like what we need, especially for wrestling. Like our like functional strength workouts are like all designed for wrestling and just getting quicker and more explosive, and that's all good. And then the wrestling, he has like his way of doing his things, which is like a lot of reps. Which I mean, that's great. Getting
Yeah.
reps because you get really good at something and they can't stop it. Then I mean, you got it good.
I like that. So like it's kind of more or less just keep doing it continuously, get amazing at it. If you get amazing at it, then ain't nobody gonna be able to stop it, even if they know it's coming.
And then when we need the technique aspect, we have Coach Jody Stripmatter, who's like fantastic technique. My
This is
dad,
like it's like a cheat code. Like my gosh, the coaching staff up there is amazing.
yeah, it is really good. And then we have my dad's one of our coaches. We have Coach Verona, who's really good freestyle Greco coach, came from Florida up here. And then we go over to NOWC occasionally, and like that's like the best coaching you're gonna get.
Yeah, it is. That's especially when it comes to freestyle. I couldn't agree
Mhm.
more. It seems like everybody's going there. I mean, from Dake to I mean Snyder
Yeah,
to that. When it comes to freestyle, that's where everybody goes to. Where I mean, it even if you just watch Final X, I mean, half those
yeah.
guys are
Uh,
are are, are teammates wrestling each other. You know what I mean? Which I'm hoping some other RTCs can pick up the game just
yeah,
to make it a
yeah,
little bit, you know what I mean, instead of like it being like, hey, the Yankees run baseball or the however, whatever other sport that like one
yeah,
team
exactly.
dominates. So I'd like to see it to where, and honestly, like I think there's several. I think Cornell has
Or
really put together something great. I think Ohio State is building something just outlandish here lately. So I think that there's other schools that have the potential. As long as they keep building, I think that they could get to that level. It's just they got to keep building. They got to keep finding the right guys and the right mindset.
yeah,
They got to
exactly.
get they got to get Jax Forrest. And uh and honestly, out of all the things that you've done, with the the silver medals, the going and taking second at Ironman, winning these college opens, third at Super 32s as an eighth grader, which is insane. I feel like Mason Gibson might have did that too.
He
Correct?
won when he was in 8th grade.
Yeah, which is that's just nuts too. And
Yeah. I mean,
he's off to Penn State, correct?
yeah, he is.
See, yeah. I I'm proud of all of them, man. I love the success of anybody to go Penn State, Iowa, and
Yeah.
Cornell, Indiana. I don't wherever you go, it's awesome. But I mean, uh, obviously, I mean, I've made it well known, us Ohio boys, where we want you blue chip recruits to go. But at the same time, like out of all those things, man, what really hits home and says like this was my biggest accomplishment. This was the one.
So, I mean, obviously, the college opens up there just because, like, I wanted to do something like that. I don't know if no one's ever done that before. I mean, someone probably has, but just it's something that is like just kind of crazy. So where I can look back on 10 years and be like, man, like that was great. And then obviously the world silver medal that one's definitely up there. But that one
Yeah,
just it kind of leaves like a bitter taste, just that I was so close.
absolutely.
You
I
know,
think you're going to have a lot more chances. I think
yeah,
I do, but them college opens are huge, especially at your age too. And some of the people that go to the Edinburgh Open are just
yeah,
there's it's phenomenal. So honestly, I didn't even know it until I really started digging into you that the Clarion Open. And I mean, you're right in my neck of the woods. I I mean, I grew up outside of Pittsburgh and then like moved to Ohio. So I mean, moved back to Ohio just a couple of years ago. So I mean, I used to go up to all of those all the time. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool to see. I wish I would have known you were going up to them, man. It would have given me a reason to go check them out.
yeah. It
And then
was
yeah, I'm sure it was an experience. Who'd you end up catching in the finals up there? Do you remember up at Edinburgh?
at the Edinburgh. I had Macron actually. Yeah,
I see. And
and
then
then there's also
Claire,
Another Ohio State guy in the quarters at the Edinburgh.
who'd you end up with there? Gonzalez?
Yeah, Gonzalez.
Both got some different. They're two different feels to those two, or
Oh yeah, definitely. They're both really good. Like
yeah,
I think Macron he plays pretty high at the weight I was at for U20 trials, and I think Gonzalez took third at the weight above.
yeah. Macron took fourth. He ended up losing early at the U.S. Open.
Oh yeah,
He goes and I think he lost in the first or second, and wrestles 9 matches, comes all the way back, and ends up finishing
right.
third, I believe, third or fourth. But yeah, they both are very, and I love that mentality. And I'll give Coach Ryan that he always preaches next best thing. Like if you get hit, next best thing. And I'm sure most coaches are. I'm sure Kale and anybody else is saying the same thing. But uh, I really so on to something else here. These rule changes at the NCAA's. How do you feel
Yeah,
about this 3-point takedown, buddy?
I actually really like them because I'm one that I love. Like I'll wrestle and I'll take kids down, cut them, take them down. So that's like, and I do a lot of transitions where I take people down to their back, which now that's 7 points, right? Just like that. I mean, that's huge.
It is. It is. And I liked it too, just for the simple fact that it was like I watched people like Caleb Romero or
Mhm.
a lot of guys, even Carter Starachi or anybody like they'll go and get 5 takedowns, 6 takedowns in the first period, and then here at the end of the first they're up 5 to 10, and it's like, man, one move that this guy makes, and meanwhile he's dominated the match. So it was good, I thought, to open it up a little bit,
I
but
agree. And it's
and
just a change to get more people like interested and want to watch it.
absolutely, and I think the sport itself, like between like you said, your little sister's wrestling. I think having this women's wrestling to where like I want to get I want to touch I want to be able to touch base with the women and how they're feeling about where the sport's going and having their own because with whenever I grew up, they if women wanted to wrestle, if a girl wanted to wrestle, hey, you're on the team with the boys. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're separating it and
And McCourt actually they have a girls wrestling team, which is I think it's
that's
great.
all.
Pennsylvania actually just sanctioned it as a sport, and I think there'll be a PIAA state sport next year, which is great.
That is awesome. Ohio just had. I went to the state tournament in Ohio this year, and I walked in, and I was like, they had the whole left side for the girls, and I was just like, at first, I was like, what, man, that many girls qualified for state, and then they're like, no, I mean, like that. There's a whole. They
Yeah,
have their own state tournament. I'm like, that's awesome. That's
yeah, it's great.
yeah. So I love to see any kind of growth within the sport, and
Yeah.
honestly, like it's a big part of why I started doing this is
Hmm.
honestly, so I could kind of reach out to just really good wrestlers like you guys and let people. I mean, it's going to take a minute to get it to grow, and that's why I appreciate because I mean, right now, buddy, like I said, you're one of the faces of high school wrestling. So not only do I enjoy having this conversation with you and being able to talk wrestling, but the fact you're taking the time and helping the channel grow and even helping just people kind of understand like, hey, this is how I got to where I'm at. And if you
Yeah.
could talk to, say, if there was a 7-year-old kid right here that was wanting to get into wrestling right now, what would be something what piece of advice would you give him if he was just getting ready to say, hey, I'm interested, I'm going to try it out this year.
So one thing that actually I've been trying to work on a lot recently that I think is great for someone who's younger is to not necessarily focus on the wins and the losses of it. It's just like trying to get better and trying to enjoy it and have fun. And just ultimately, like wrestling, it's a sport. You're doing it because you love the sport and you want to have fun and do it. So it's just like instead of focusing on just winning because you're not going to win every time. So that takes the joy out of it. Just focus
Absolutely.
on having fun and just continuing to get better and just be the best that you can.
I like that. Much respect. And I think that's where some parents mess up is they want their kids to win all the time instead of like you said, just go out there and enjoy it. The wins will come.
Yeah.
Like give it some time. Just enjoy yourself. Win, lose, no matter what. As long as we're having fun, that's what it's about. We'll stack.
I've got caught up on just trying to win, and that's came back and hurt me in matches. And so, my parents, they're great. My mom and dad, they talk to me all the time about it, and they're like kind of the opposite of what you just said. Like they want me to just have fun with it and not just worry about winning and losing the whole time.
Yeah, and I can see that. And hopefully when they see this down the road, they can honestly, I think they did a hell of a job raising a good young man, and so kudos to them for just the way that you carry yourself, the way that you speak, buddy. It speaks volumes of how they done you also. So
Yeah, they did a great job.
yeah, and I'm sure that your siblings are right there with you, and
Oh yeah,
can't wait to see them. Now, how you have what you said two or three younger than you?
I have three younger brothers and I have three older sisters. So I'm like right in the middle.
Wow. So and you have one of your sisters that wrestles?
Yes, my older sister, she's 2 grades ahead of me. She's actually going into her senior year, and she just started wrestling this past year.
Awesome. So this was like she just finished up her first year?
Yeah, and she did really good for just starting it. And then we were doing a 5 a.m. practice, and she broke her arm.
Oh,
So she had to actually, it was a bad one. Like she had to get surgery on it and everything. But I think she still wants to come back and wrestle next year, her senior. So that's great.
yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, it's in her blood. She's probably just now getting to realize, like, hey, man, this is what we do. This
Yeah.
is what us Forrests are built for this. And
Yeah.
then how now your little brothers, are they wrestling also, and on coming up and on
Yeah,
the youth teams? And
my brother Jager, he's right below me. He's a age or a year below me. He used to wrestle more. He kind of stopped. He does it every now and then. He likes playing more basketball and football. But then my brother Jameson, he's going into his 7th grade year. He's getting older. He's getting a lot better. And then my youngest brother Jude, he's just he's 2. So
yeah, yeah, it's gonna take a little bit, but
we try and mess
but
around with him a bit though.
yeah, absolutely. I got my son. He's 2. He turned 2 in March, and
Oh,
I'm literally we're already working on cradles and having. But I'm hoping, and honestly, that's why I kind of ask a lot of you, a lot like how I asked you earlier, like
mm-hmm.
what's the best route to go for a young kid? What's the best route? Not even just to help the kids, but to help parents, because like I never want to be that parent, because
Yeah.
I mean I only have one son, and we just happen to be in a situation that's all we're going to be able to have, and um so. Uh, I want him to be great at it. I want him to love it, but I also don't want to be that
Yeah.
parent that makes
Mhm.
him hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of just like, and it's kind of hard, I think, just because like you don't know how your son is going to be. So it's like you
Yeah,
don't really know what the best fit or what the best parenting style is going to be with him.
exactly. And it's scary. It is. And it's because like obviously I wouldn't be sitting here taking notes on all these guys, on you, on everybody, if I didn't clearly have some kind of love and passion for this
Exactly.
deal. And I can't expect, and I think that's what a lot of people worry about is like, oh, you love this sport so much, you're going to pound it down your son's throat. And it's like,
Hmm.
no, I'm going to introduce it to him. Yes, I
Yeah,
am.
for
But
sure.
to sit there and be like, this is what you do, this is what we are. It's like, nah, man, we're gonna see what he likes, where he wants to go, and we'll support him in whatever he does do.
Yeah,
Hope it, we just hope it's on a mat. That's all.
exactly.
But well, man, I'll tell you what, I really do appreciate you taking the time with me, Jax. It's been it really has been awesome, man. Just to hear how you got started, the things you
Mhm.
have accomplished, and where you're looking ahead, and
Yeah.
to go. And to be honest, brother, I'll definitely be paying attention, and hopefully we can stay in touch every now and then, and
Oh yeah.
maybe hopefully we'll even link up and do another one of these when we get yourself a state championship, or I don't, even if you don't, man, whatever you do, man, I'd love to have you back on the show, buddy.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Hey, not a problem, big guy. And like I said, take care of yourself. Um, your parents raised a fine young man, like I said earlier. So it's always good. It's always good to talk to somebody. Just talk wrestling with a good man. So
Exactly.
uh, keep grinding, buddy. Keep doing your thing, and hopefully we see you with your hand raised at the state finals here this coming
Yes,
year.
sir. We hope so, right? And
All
good
right,
luck with the podcast.
thank you,
Hope it
buddy.
all keeps getting bigger and bigger, right?
I hope so. I hope so. That's the plan, man. I feel like we put our head down, just no different than wrestling. Put my head down, keep grinding, keep doing the work,
Yeah.
and hopefully it'll turn out into something where whenever you're sitting at Final X one day, I'll be the guy out there saying, "Hey, I got a question for you, Mr. Forrest," and
Yeah.
that's the objective is, and I hope we both end up there. We can't
Yeah.
quit till we do.
Exactly.
All right, my man. Well, hey, brother, you have a good time. Enjoy your vacation,
I
and
will.
you take care of yourself, and we will be talking to you soon.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, big man. Yes, sir. Take care, big man.